Previously, the police were prepared to raid the church and locate the parasites, but stumbled upon a terrifying sight: a pantry stocked with body parts. However, that wasn't all they discovered, and they also found a familiar symbol on the walls which is associated with the church and the parasites in general. Meanwhile, Chul-min found some keys on the ground, and regrettably, the keys belonged to Soo-in, identifiable by the familiar keyring that he had given her. Despite Jun Kwang's suspicion, he chose to safeguard Soo-in and didn't report this to her, and back at the station, the team are briefed on the situation involving the warehouse. It turns out that there have been over 500 body parts in the warehouse, and they can assume that a large number of parasites were meeting there. They do not know that Kwon Hong-ju was the pastor, and decide that this is good enough to pursue for now. Chul-min was acting suspiciously and twitchy after the key thing, and Jun Kwang had figured it out. Meanwhile, the parasites received word back from Kwang-woo, and also that one of their own had been killed. Unfortunately, Won-suk was actually part of the organization with these parasites and worked with them, and Yuk-ju hands over a knife made of strong material not dissimilar to their tentacles and tells him that he needs to kill the hunting dog no matter what. In another location, Chul-min calls Soo-in and arranges a meeting at Changseong Amusement Park in half an hour, and as Chul-min departs, Jun-kyung opts to trail him and has him shadowed, and unbeknownst to Chul-min, he gives Soo-in her keys when they meet, making a reference to the church. He urges her to be honest and inquires if she's in peril. However, Jun-kwang arrives with the hunting dog. Kang-woo and Soo-in were compelled to run and seek refuge in the amusement park as backup arrives. Soo-in was under the parasite's control and neutralizes Jun Kwang and tries to escape, but she's encircled by the soldiers. At the same time, we notice that Won-suk was present too, and he lags behind as the rest rush in. He repeatedly stabs the hunting dog, leaving him in a gruesome state. All the while, Kang-woo observes the entire scene from a distance, witnessing the betrayal firsthand. However, Soo-in loses consciousness, and Chul-min was eager to provide her with urgent medical care, and the other officers, however, decline, maintaining their arm on her, suspecting her to be a parasite. Jun Kwang arrives taking the grey helmet that belonged to her deceased husband and places it on Soo-in's head, the side stained with blood. Unable to resist, Soo-in is escorted away, seemingly trapped with no escape, and overwhelmed by anger, Jun Kwang informs all the surrounding officers that Soo-in is a parasite. Despite this, we've conducted tests, and Chul-min insists on disclosing the truth to the entire police department, and reluctantly Team Grey announces that there are actually no indications of a parasite within Soo-in. Currently, Soo-in was in a coma and appears to pose no threat. Simultaneously, Heidi initiates a dialogue with Soo-in with her subconscious, and this is where Soo-in's spirit resides, and Heidi considers it as an ideal location for their conversation, given the rarity of such opportunities. Heidi presents Soo-in with images of her former home and the day she reported her father to the police. Despite all the harsh treatment, she found the strength to survive that day, but was viewed as a monster by everyone for turning in her own father. This led to Soo-in's social ostracization, explaining her reserved nature and employment at the store. Soo-in had a solitary encounter with her biological mother, who unfortunately compared Soo-in to an insect and essentially abandoned her with her new family. In another location, Chul-min was briefed about Kang-woo and his exploitation of the gangs for their illicit activities. Given the trouble he's been causing locally, Chul-min decides to confront him before he vanishes again, and Kang-woo, discontented, was preparing to leave town by bus and was astonished by the lack of news about the parasite. As he settles into his seat, Chul-min appears and departs with him, and during the car ride, Kang-woo identifies Won-suk as the likely culprit behind the hunting dog's murder. This revelation shocks Chul-min, who seeks a comprehensive explanation of how he became entangled in this complex situation with Soo-in. He mentions Heidi's involvement and her protective role with situations becoming precarious, and upon hearing this, Chul-min concludes that they must extricate Soo-in from this predicament. Simultaneously, Won-suk places a call to the pastor and shares all the specifics about the transfer and the task force. The transfer time was approaching and everything was set for a tense showdown, and as the parasites converge, Chul-min assigns Kang-woo the task of infiltrating the police station and posing as a member of the elite transfer team. As Kang-woo accompanies the still comatose Soo-in on the upper level, Won-seok and Chul-min find themselves in the same vehicle. A disconcerting exchange occurs between them as they discuss the church, and Chul-min knowingly informs his companion that he would never accompany him to the church. Unfortunately, the transfer goes wrong as there's an accident on the highway and the parasite begins attacking. Jun-kwang shows up with the others and they begin fighting, but there were numerous parasites and they seemed to be winning. The truck Soo-in was kept on comes to a stop on the highway where the parasites kill the drivers. Kang-woo takes the opportunity to exit out and back and grab the key to free Soo-in, but Jun-kwang gets involved and tries to fight. Kang-woo does come to a stop though and frees Soo-in from her gray helmet and her comatose state. The situation with Heidi ends with the parasite giving Soo-in a pep talk, pointing out that she's never been alone, and the pair take off together and Chul-min looks over and sees Soo-in from afar. He and Won-seok follow, but there was a problem, and Won-seok knows that his colleague has clocked him. Won-seok escorts Chul-min to their hideout, and reveals that he's a regular attendee of Senjin Church and is tired of being manipulated. He confesses to betraying humanity and advocates for welcoming the parasites, and regrettably, when the pastor makes an appearance, Chul-min doesn't hesitate to shoot him. In a swift contradiction, the parasite duplicates Chul-min, and Soo-in arrives just in time to witness the parasite infecting Chul-min and transforming him. A confrontation ensues between the two, but it reaches a deadlock, particularly since the pastor's parasite has now taken residence inside Chul-min. Kang-woo manages to make a successful escape with Soo-in, while Chul-min, despite his transformation, remains alive. In a flashback, Kang-woo's younger sister, Jin-hee, idealizes Kang-woo and believes he's in Seoul assisting her. She contacts Ki-seok for an update, but he hadn't received any news from her brother. Upon returning home, she encounters the pastor and Kang-hee outside, and Jin-hee was determined to seek help from his elder sister. However, her sibling disapproves, and her persistence ultimately leads to her demise. The final act Jin-hee manages to perform before death was to call Kang-woo, and fast forward to the present, Kang-woo places a call to Ki-seok and learns that he's fled to Jinyang. Nevertheless, he consents to share his address and the passcode, inviting Kang-woo to join him in hiding. As for Soo-in, she was overwhelmed by sorrow for the loss of one individual who always cared for her. In the aftermath of the unsuccessful operation on the highway, the task force was on edge. Without the guidance of the hunting dog to lead them to the parasites, they contemplate canceling the large-scale music festival and memorial event scheduled for the mayor. The authorities, however, were reluctant to call off the event, considering its significance for him. Following the meeting, Won-seok engages in a conversation with Chul-min, who has now become a parasite. Aware of her extraordinary strength, Chul-min determines that Soo-in must be eliminated, and Kang-hee places a call and they discuss the operation. And while at Ki-seok's place, Soo-min makes a pivotal decision, and she resolves not to run away but to confront the situation head-on. As they switch on the TV, news about the parasites begins to circulate, and Kang-woo was caught off guard as he realizes that the authorities have decided to disclose the information to the public. In the meantime, Jun-kwang locates the church serving as the parasite's hideout, and she captures images of the building's exterior and plans an assault with the intention of eliminating everyone inside. After setting this plan in motion, Soo-in places a call that night to warn both Chul-min and Won-seok as parasites. As they prepare for this encounter, Jang-woo stumbles upon the last message that Jin-hee was in the process of sending, and the message reading, "Don't come home," was never sent due to her untimely death. This revelation prompts Kang-woo to reflect on his past actions, leading him to acknowledge his mistakes. Jun-kang expresses her desire for Soo-in to join them for the upcoming raid, which seems to be a grand scheme designed to eliminate the soldiers. However, Soo-in chooses to escape, particularly when additional guards arrive on the rooftop with a helmet, indicating their intentions to make her their hunting dog. With Heidi exerting control, Soo-in leaps off the roof. While on the move, Heidi admits to having overstepped her boundaries in controlling Soo-in recently, and declares her intention to remain inactive for the subsequent 3 hours. Regardless of their circumstances, they must avoid getting involved in any further dangerous situation, and Kang-hee arrives to meet Kai-seok, actively pushing leads related to his brother and Soo-in. Regrettably, the situation deteriorates when he places a call to Kang-woo, instructing him to return home. Kang-hee intercepts the phone call and issues an ultimatum, demanding that they resolve their course, or else Kai-seok will face beheading in a mere 15 minutes. Responding to the dire threat, the duo complies and turns back, and in a selfless act of protection, Kai-seok ends up sacrificing himself to ensure the safety of Kang-woo and Soo-in. Following this tragic event, Kang-woo and Soo-in make a swift exit and vanish from the scene, and in the meantime, the planned raid proceeds, but Ju Kang harbors doubts about Chul-min. In an attempt to confirm her suspicion, she snips off a piece of Wo-seok's hair in the elevator, and typically Won-seok were a parasite, her hair would disintegrate. However, when that doesn't happen, she begins to question her assumptions. As the team prepares to launch their attack, Kang-woo and Soo-in make a final call to warn the situation is a trap and advise her to abort the mission. Despite their warnings, Jun Kang dismisses their concerns and decides to proceed, unaware that she had actually cut the hair from the wrong individual. Chul-min actually kills his own parasitic brothers with a shotgun to the chest, while Kang-hee manages to escape on a bus. She watches Chul-min in shock and realizes that she's feeling betrayed. It all ends with Soo-in and Kang-woo finding out that the parasite inside Chul-min has an ulterior motive, and it intends to take control of someone higher up the chain of command, and more specifically, the Nimcheon mayor who's showing up at the event. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.